Hey folks, how are you? I'm talking to you today about my favorite protein sources. I know a lot of people have questions regarding protein and how to incorporate it into their life. And the reality is that some people get a lot of protein, but some people don't get enough. And when we are very plant focused, sometimes we can get so much fiber that we tend not to get as much protein. So we don't need very much, but we do need enough to have anabolic growth and muscle, uh, stimulate muscle growth. As we get older, we lose muscle mass. So we're trying to avoid that as much as possible. And looking at all the science, it looks like somewhere between 1.2 and 1.6 grams of protein per kilo of body weight is important to maintain per day, preferably divided by 3 times a day. So here are my favorite ways to incorporate this in the way that I eat. So hopefully it will help you. So I just brought a bunch of different foods to share with you. And I'm just going to do it like lunch or breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You see Claudia's checking in. So, hey there. I've gone ahead and gotten started. I am recording. So you checked in just in time. I'm about to go through my favorite sources of protein from meal by meal and how to incorporate it. And then we'll get to questions at the end. So my one of my first favorite things to eat in the morning is yogurt with a variety of things on top. And the yogurt that I particularly like is non-fat Greek yogurt. This is the kind that I like. It's Fage, 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 0%. And some people aren't doing dairy. Obviously, that's fine. I would choose like a cashew-based yogurt in that case. But the nice thing about this is that it has 0 fat, obviously, and in 3/4 of a cup, 18 grams of protein. So just right off the bat, really high amounts of protein with not a ton of volume. So that is a really good base. And to add to that, I'll add maybe some chia seeds. Okay, chia seeds are for 2.5 tablespoons, 5 grams of protein. So if you think about the amount of protein that you would need kind of at base, like a base level to stimulate muscle protein synthesis, we're talking somewhere between 20 and 25 grams. And so if you just imagine if you do a cup of this and sprinkle some of this, basically you've got it right there. Okay. So it's not that hard, but sometimes it's hard to think about. But also, because I like variety, I like to add other things to my yogurt. Never mind nut seeds, other nuts and seeds, and which all, you can check. Pumpkin seeds have a large amount of protein as well. But I do like flaxseed meal and I like hemp hearts. Those taste good. They're good to add. You don't have to add a lot. This one is the MVP when we're talking about protein. 3 tablespoons, 10 grams. 3 tablespoons, 10 grams. So 1 tablespoon, sprinkle it on, 3 grams. Boom. You can put this on salads. It's really tasty. Flaxseed meal, in my opinion, not as tasty as hemp hearts, but still really good and really good for you. It's got lignans, which are important. And in 2 tablespoons, 4 grams of protein. So this also is really good to add to your breakfast. So that's if you're doing yogurt. If you're doing something else like I like avocado toast, for example. So on my avocado toast, I will put smoked salmon. And and smoked salmon. Here I didn't bring the smoked salmon out, but I just brought, just for example, because salmon is salmon essentially, but this is wild caught Alaska pink salmon. I like to keep this around. I can add this on top of salads, and a third of a cup is 17 grams of protein. A third of a cup. So it's this is really easy to add on top of things like salads, but if you like smoked salmon, it's the same thing. You can add it on top of avocado toast, and now you've bumped up the protein for that part of breakfast. So that's kind of a good thing that you can start with. You can also start with something like oatmeal. Some people like oatmeal. That's fine. You can still add those toppings on top. Oatmeal has some protein in it as well, but then you add those, and now you're really bumping up the amounts. So that's kind of the way that I eat breakfast. You can also do eggs. The only thing with eggs is there is some saturated fat in eggs, not a lot, but the cholesterol, if some people are eating 4, 5, 6 eggs a day, now we're getting to really high levels of cholesterol, and you're going to absorb some of that, and it's going to ultimately contribute to increasing your own. So one egg has about 6 to 7 grams of protein. So if you stick with just the white, then you can add additional eggs. Just don't use the yolk, and you can make an omelet with 1 yolk and 3 whites, for example. So that's another thing that you can do for breakfast. So the way that I like to, and I have the recipe in your section in your I actually think I made it. It's in the recipe section of your documents, but I like to saute together some onions, garlic, spinach, and tempeh. And I use a ton of spinach. Guys, spinach is really high in protein, but you need a lot of it because it's, when you cook it, it shrinks down. But that's the beautiful thing about this particular meal. So if you cook spinach and saute it, it will shrink down. Add some tempeh, and then you can add an egg, and it's like a really nice high protein breakfast item. So tempeh this is what it looks like. This is organic. Always get soybean that's organic, okay? Because otherwise they spray it with Roundup. And this has 2.5 servings per container. So this is not very much. This is 2.5 servings. 1 serving has 18 grams of protein. So this much has 18 grams of protein, right? So imagine taking that, crumbling it up, adding it to your saute, throwing in an egg. Good, you're good. Like you've gotten the 25 grams right there. So I love tempeh. You can saute it up and put it on top of salads again. Really, really useful, and really good for decreasing risk of breast cancer as well. So good on that. So the other thing, since we're talking about soybean, is tofu. Tofu is also soybean. Tempeh is soybean. I'm kind of a fan of soybeans because of their ability to decrease breast cancer risk. Again, always organic. So this one package of tofu has 4.5 servings, and each serving is 9 grams. So look at this, 4.5 servings, right? So then the question is, what do you do with tofu? How do you even make it? You can blend it with some chickpeas and add some garlic, and then boom, you've got a base for any types of roasted vegetables on top. So just blend it up, maybe add a little bit of olive oil, a can of chickpeas all together, some garlic, a little salt. Now you've got a nice puree that you can put your roasted vegetables on top, and boom, you got your protein right there. So really good thing to keep around the house. So I kind of jumped a little bit into lunch, but some people will do maybe a smoothie instead, than a salad with things on top. So if you were to do a smoothie, you can add all sorts of things together that are high protein. That the thing that I like, I'll just show you kind of my mainstays. I like soy milk, again, soy. I do like a variety of things. I believe in diversity. But for me, if I'm doing anything dairy-ish, for me, it's going to be mostly soy. I still do the Greek yogurt, obviously. But this, compared to almond milk, has 1 cup has 9 grams of protein. Almond and oat are less. I forget how much they are, but I think they're somewhere around 4. So more with this, and I like the flavor. And when I do smoothies, and I do smoothies when I'm running to work, or if I'm about to go do a long endurance thing, and I want something kind of to go in the car, that's when I make my smoothies. Otherwise, I prefer to eat food in the traditional way with a fork and spoon and knife. So, but this is my favorite plant protein. And the reason why I like it, again, is diversity. So this Ancient Nutrition, it has many different ingredients. I'm just going to say some of them: pumpkin seed, flax seed, hemp seed, chia seed, sunflower, watermelon, Sacha inchi, which I have no idea what that is, and then many different adaptogens and mushroom blends. So 1 scoop is 15 grams, easy peasy. Add that, add this, add your strawberries and your blueberries or your cinnamon, whatever you want, mix it up. You've got your protein right there. And if for some reason you find that you are not getting what you need, you can always, this is kind of my go-to. I haven't gotten any, I'm eating like a ton of plants, but not a lot of them are fibrous and they don't have as much protein as I need. Maybe I'll just throw a scoop of this in some tea to just boost it for that meal. And these are collagen peptides. Let's see, 4 tablespoons, which is 20 grams, has 20 grams of collagen, 18 grams of protein. So this dissolves easily in tea and is super easy to drink. So that's another one of my favorite sources. And then we're going to go into kind of more like dinnerish. And here are my little tweaks that I like. So I think I've told a lot of people about my pasta choices. You're going to not be surprised that they involve soybeans. But I have this type of fettuccine. I know some of you don't like this type, but if you like, you can try it. It's edamame and mung bean. So let's see, 2 ounces, so 4 servings. So every 2 ounces has 24 grams of protein. And this is a small amount, so you're getting tons of it with this. Lentils, though, so some people that don't like soy like lentils. This is a lentil penne, and this one has 4 servings in here, per serving 14 grams. So red lentils are kind of a big like protein source, which people don't realize. They are, here they are in like their native form. They're extremely easy to cook. It takes no time at all. You do a 1-to-1 liquid to lentil mix, and you just cook them for like, it takes so little time for the water to evaporate, maybe 10 minutes. But if you want to even boost the protein more, instead of water, you can use bone broth. So you can do a 1-to-1 bone broth to red lentil, and now you've got a really like nice starch, right? Like a base for things, but look at the amount of protein that you'll have in here. So one container is 19 grams of protein. And then in here, a quarter cup, it's 14 grams. A quarter cup is 14 grams. So if you do a cup of this, and this is I think this is 2 cups. So if you do 2 cups of this and 2 cups of this, now I have to do 14 times 8. It's 80, 320, 112 grams of protein. And then you divide it by the number of servings, right? But just these together, large amounts. And obviously you don't need that much. You only need a little bit, right? To get 25 to 30 grams is not a very big portion size. So this is a kind of really fun go-to. And then I'm going to share a couple of other things. If you like hummus, it's based with chickpeas. Chickpeas are great to add to salads. Great to add, you can roast them on their own. They are also really, really good. So half a cup is 7 grams of protein. Half a cup is a very small amount. So there are 3.5 servings per container, if you think about that. So per serving, 7 grams of protein. So it all adds up and you can get to where you need to be. Last but not least, if you're trying to cut back your saturated fat intake and you want something that tastes like Parmesan cheese, I'm a big fan of nutritional yeast powder. I use it for my, when I make pesto, instead of Parmesan, I use this. This is really, really great because it's, I just love that it's a yeast, which, you know, I think that people don't have enough fungi in their lives. But 2 tablespoons of this, 7 grams of protein. 2 tablespoons, 7 grams. So, you know, you sprinkle it on top of your pasta, you put it on, some people actually will put it on like popcorn and makes it almost like a cheesy popcorn. So it's a nice thing to add. So those are kind of like my favorite. Never mind, I didn't share with you the nuts and the other nuts and seeds that I like, but they're all, you know, a variety of percentages of protein to fat, and I do like a combo. So the caveats, okay, caveats. So protein, even when it's isocaloric, exchanged for carbohydrate or fat, meaning if you increase your protein and decrease your carbohydrate or fat, and the amount that the calories ends up being equal, okay? Even if this happens, people tend to increase their weight. So how do we keep that from going to muscle and not to fat? When we increase weight, where is this going? Is the increased weight muscle or is the increased weight fat? And it depends on your exercise. So if you are strength training and exercising, you are stimulating, you are providing the protein muscle synthesis trigger by the food, and then you're providing the location for this to go by your exercise. And if you're not exercising, it's going to get stored as fat. So that is super important. That's one thing that people forget. They'll eat this giant steak and then they don't do anything. They expect that it's going to become muscle in their bodies. It's not magic. You have to actually exercise to promote muscle synthesis. And the other thing is that if you have more than approximately, they think 40, might be a little bit higher, it might be 50 or 60, but right now it looks like it comes to a level at 40. grams of protein per sitting. Again, I'm going to say this again. If you have more than 40 grams of protein per sitting, it does not increase your muscle protein synthesis by any significant amount, maybe a tiny bit. So you reach a level. So it's not like jam pack the protein in there. You kind of get this little sweet spot somewhere between, depending on your own weight, 25 to 40 grams per sitting. So if you're on the lighter weight, you're going to go lower to 25. If you are on the heavier weight, you're going to go a little bit higher towards the 30 to 40. But preferably, if you are a higher weight person, instead of 3 meals a day, you might want to consider 4. And this is if you are actively exercising, because otherwise you're going to be having a lot of hours of the day that you're eating. And then you're just going to, your body's going to be like, oh, I have calories all the time. And it's going to store. And it's going to store them as fat. So I hope that makes sense. So protein is important, but don't overdo it. So hopefully that answers some questions. I did want to point out that one way to avoid overdoing protein is basically eating like herbivores and eating like, when you see horses and cows and anybody that's an herbivore, they're eating all the time. They have to be eating all the time because it takes a lot of plants to give you the protein that you need. But if you had a job that allowed you, you potentially could do that. You just have to get that protein, muscle protein synthesis trigger at like all at once at some point, preferably 3 times a day to allow this to continue building muscle. So hopefully that helped. But if you have questions, I'm happy to answer. Meanwhile, Claudia is the only one on today.
I'm the only one on. Okay.
Claudia, I lost your video. I don't know if you wanted to say something.
Yeah, there you go.
I can't hear you. Oh, wait, hold on.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Two questions. One, you were talking about using egg whites instead of egg yolks, and what's the difference in protein between egg white, an egg with egg white or egg yolks?
Yeah,
Are there difference in?
The protein is in the white.
The protein is in the white. Oh, okay. Okay, great. Okay. The other thing was more of a technical thing. When I tried to get on for some reason, if I try to get on by my computer where I can see better, it requires a passcode, but there was nothing in the link that gave passcode.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I'll have to reach out to.
So if there's a passcode that you can share, I can.
There is.
Yeah.
There isn't. There shouldn't be. You should just be able to click straight through the app. Yeah. So I'll reach out to help you because it hasn't done that before. So
okay.
What that's all about.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Yeah, sure.
No, this was very helpful.
Okay, so yeah, so I think when people start to bump up their protein, they notice that their weight goes up, and that has been shown in studies. That's what happens. The weight goes up. But the question is, what is the body composition? And that's the important thing, because if your weight goes up, but it's because you're increasing muscle, that is actually the goal. So for me, I don't look at an individual as you need to be this weight, a particular weight, because if your weight is higher, but your body composition is healthier, that's better. I'd rather you be 5 pounds heavier if that means that you are more muscular and your fat has dropped. I would prefer that. That is a metabolically healthier position to be in long term. And especially for those of us who happen to not be men and have a bunch of testosterone as we age and our bones start to feel the impact, we need muscle to allow the bone to continue to stay strong. Otherwise, it will start to resorb. And so, so I would prefer that we keep our weight up if it means increasing muscle and decreasing fat. So it takes a little bit of, you know, dialing it in, which is why it's helpful when people live nearby and then they can come and check on the scale and see where they are, so that we can, you know, say, okay, this is working or it's not working, and let's kind of, you know, reassess. So that's I think we did it a little quickly. So unless you have any other questions, we can call it an early end to the session. Okay, perfect. Well, thanks for joining, Claudia.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. This is really helpful.
Excellent. Perfect. All right. Take care.
See you later. Bye-bye. Thanks.